ஹலோ என்னோட பேர் கௌதம். இப்பதான் என்னோட 4வது வாரம் தமிழ்நாடுல. Just kidding. Hey, honestly, that'd be crazy. I had a couple of times like last week where I like had a quick random thought in Tamil and I was like, that's weird. It never happened. I've never like thought in it, but I've definitely been speaking in that a lot. I'm not great, but I have been like talking casually to the people who like work and stuff. It doesn't seem too bad. I probably definitely sound like a foreigner, but I think I might sound like an Indian foreigner rather than an American citizen, which is great. I got the haircut. I look like I play the role. I got this little bad boy. It's called a au- auto. It's called the auto. I got it for $200. Uh, I've had a pretty interesting week. Should I eat this banana right now? Yeah, I'll eat a banana. Why not? I've been killing these. Since the last time I spoke, I moved into this house, so I've been here now. Um, oh, I did this. Beautiful, no? I just went to like it was like Carnatic music concert, but also like a Bharatanatyam concert. Beautiful. Let's get into it. I have so much to say. I don't even know where to start. Adjusting, getting used to this place was very difficult. But then, like, now that I'm getting used to it, it's a really powerful, liberating feeling. And I feel very capable and competent. So maybe I can start with this event and then I can kind of see what there's so much. Every day is like universe of its own. This concert was very humbling because I think like sometimes when you're just like stuck in your day to day and then you see all your wins and you try you kind of see your losses but you don't pay too much attention to it. You start to the world starts in this weird way. Like every day, I'm like, okay, can I survive in this situation? Boom, boom. It's all about me in all these situations. It's always like, can you navigate this? Okay, you did navigate it. Can you do this? Okay, you can do it. Can you call yourself? Can you cross the street for the first time? Like that was hard. I did. Like there's all these like difficulties that you then overcome, and you feel proud of yourself, and you feel this self of sense of attainment. But it's all inwards, me. I think it's really important to learn how to play the role of the main character, but to really play the side character very well. I think that's an important thing in your life. You know, I remember as a kid, I would go to these events and like it would be someone else's event. And I think this is definitely one of the only children things. But like I would go to someone else's event and think that like be excited for like my own things, like as if the event was just another medium for me to kind of be the center of attention. And it even seems so vain saying that out loud. But I have to be honest. I mean, that's how my brain, I think, worked for a long time. And then I had a period of my life where I was, you know, a recluse in some ways. And I didn't think like that. Because I think to yourself, you'll always be the most important person. Or at least, maybe not. Maybe I see some other people who play the second fiddle really well, like a great supporter, great kind of like I don't want the attention on myself, but I'm really good at channeling on another person. I know some people like that. Maybe my mom, but I feel like I've always been like the I enjoy being at the center. But what ends up happening because of that is you think you're more central than you really are. And I think why is that a problem? Well, if there is some value in like objective truth, then you're so far from it, there's an issue there. But there's another more, I think, internal issue as well. which is that I want to say when you think things are about you, you start to make everything a big deal, like, oh, the small, because you think you're so important. I don't think I'm at that. I used to be at that point, maybe in high school. I don't think I'm at that point anymore where, like, oh my God, these things are so important. But I think you can't take yourself lightly. You gotta, like, you got to really just, I got a notification. Probably turn this on. Um, take yourself lightly. Take the things that you're doing lightly. It's not so serious. If something doesn't happen, you're not. It's not like, oh no, the world's not going to function without you. But learning how to be a great second fiddle, I think, is a useful skill across the board because there are times where you shine, and there are times where you have to support the shine on another person. So I was at this concert, and I thought back to 4 years ago. I went to something like this. So a family friend, and I had gone, and in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to meet all these family friends. I'm going to see all these people. It was about me. Somehow, this huge accomplishment for another person, I turned it inwards on me. I was like, this is going to be a great opportunity for me to do all the meet these people, have this. Maybe I'll meet a girl there. Blah blah blah. It became about me. So why was that? So that when I went to the concert today, at first it was lovely, and she was so good. I was genuinely floored at how good that there was a singer, there was the flute player, there was a rhythm player, and then there's the dancer. Everybody was so talented. I don't even know what to say. Sometimes you just sit there, you consume the art, and you're just like, I'm inspired. Like sometimes some art can just be so wholesome, it hits you, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I not living in the purest way that I can? And this beauty makes me like internally aware of how far I am from that. So I want to say one thing on art that I feel like this thing just made me think of. I think art in its purest form is an instant period of reflection. Whether a book, a movie, a painting, poetry, I mean, and maybe even something abstract like, I don't know, like an experience. In my head, what art does is it gives you a world to walk into that is not your own, that is not your day to day. And it gives you a brief respite to basically disconnect from your own life, connect into this new space, world, whatever, and think through that lens, experience through that lens, feel through that lens. In doing that, you get connected to different versions of yourself that you wouldn't if you were just doing your daily routine, because you're never going to enter that world. So, I mean, you take any sci-fi book, for example, stepping into that world allows you to look at things through a different person's lens, point of view. And that's something you can't just do on a day-to-day basis and can be really difficult, especially if you don't have access to people who are doing all types of crazy stuff like that. So, I'm sitting here and these guys were just so good at what they did, and it felt so real and passionate, and I just sat there and absorbed it. I did two things that I wanted to kind of break down. One, almost at the end, I took a video, and then I deleted the video because it just didn't feel right. Also, I got the new phone, a lot of storage, crazy. Um, I was listening to this podcast, and I let it sit on me for a bit, but I think I figured something out about capturing moments. What is a picture? A picture is an object. Polaroid, whatever you want to. Any of these capturing things are objects. So what I feel like pictures are doing sometimes is it's taking this real life experience and you're turning it into an object to then be consumed at a later time for whatever your purpose is. Sometimes I think things that are just so real and powerful are just not meant to be captured. They're not meant to be held on to. They're just meant to be experienced in that moment for the full depth of it. And the depth of an experience is also in the dying of that experience. That experience having its meaning and value comes in the fact that it is now gone and I will never experience it again. If I have that belief that, oh, I can re-experience this again and again and again so long as I just pull this video up, what's to say I won't fully feel those feelings of it ending? It is only when we are aware of something ending do we like seek to fully feel it, right? I mean, a person's dying, a trip is ending, that's when you sit there and you feel it. If you're just like, oh, I'm gonna have this on my phone for the rest of my life, I can play it whenever, I don't, yeah, let me just videotape it, all right, but yeah, like, and the second thing is, I think there's something to say about that objectification of an experience. It just felt wrong in that moment. I was like, why? Like, why am I objectifying these people, this experience? Why can't I just sit there and experience it? So the other side of that is, what if you want to share it with friends? Why don't you want to share the happiness that you got from that experience with friends? Which is a valid question. I personally think like you got to just be around people who were capable of creating experiences on their own. You can come together and share, talk about it, share like I experienced this thing, I want you to go experience it. I went to this concert and it's impacted me in this way, I want you to go experience it now. Allow that experience for another person. I think perhaps we can encourage other people to experience the similar things that you do, but we cannot feed them that experience through a picture or video. I think it cheapens it for everybody. It cheapens it for the experiencer because you're thinking about these things instead of sitting there appreciating it. It cheapens it for the person because they're not experiencing the depth of that. I mean, I haven't seen, we saw a lot of live music on that road trip, but I haven't seen live Carnatic classical music in maybe 6, 7, 8 years. It's different. I listen to it all the time when I meditate on the laptop, whatever. It's not the same. Seeing it on a video is one thing. Experiencing the energy of the room when you're there is just a very different thing. So I deleted the video. I'm really proud of that. I felt more connected to the experience in that moment, which is now gone and will never be. That moment with those people will never be experienced again. And so, second thing is at the end, I was a little nervous. I feel like I'm not in my bag. I was in Europe where I was like, I can go talk to anyone. I don't care. I feel like this trip has been all about conformity so far, which has been very new for me for the first time in my life. This trip has been about how do I fit in? How do I learn the culture and customs and now conform? How do I conform well? Not how do I be my own person? How do I, that's it's the first time in my life I'm trying to conform. Maybe this beard comes off soon. I love this chain. I'll tell you the story of this chain later. It's fun. It's awesome. I love it. I love it, by the way. Okay, so, um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I went up to her and the singer. He was on the phone, but I went to talk to the other two players. Uh, and I was like, it's hard to figure out, Sabo once said something about this about if she saw Billie Eilish, she would tell her that she's so talented. But we were just joking about it later because it was like we sometimes think as if those people don't know, right? Because so there's two types of people. There are people who are insecure about their talents and skills and need and what kind of would feel better if given that affirmation. So for a lot of people, me included, if someone told me genuinely how much my podcast meant to them, or how much my poetry back in the day meant, or how much my writing means, it helped. It really feels good because I'm very insecure about my work. But let's say I've been doing that for a decade, and I know I'm good, right? I know at this point, like I know I'm decent at dancing. Like when someone tells me like you're a good dancer, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like it's very kind. But like, okay, like what am I supposed to do with that? I mean, I don't. Uh, it just doesn't give me the first few times I was like, oh my God, really? Like, because I remember I was telling a friend, I was like, I used to dance with my eyes closed because I was too insecure to like look at the people around me. And so like, and this was maybe 5 years ago. And so the first couple times I still remember one of the first times someone complimented my dancing was when I went out with John and his mom. Some guy came up to me and was like, hey, I just want to let you know you're a really good dancer. I was like, what the heck, really? Like, thank you so much. And like, it was a big deal. And then, now it doesn't hit the same. Because after a certain point, once you know, like your own value, your own worth, the affirmation doesn't hit the same. You already know, you don't, it doesn't really. So, how can you communicate to someone, right? Is it that you have to find things that they don't believe in themselves? You have to really find it and then tell them? Because I tried to be genuine. I was like, hey, like, I was having a really tough day, and this really, impacted me in a profound way. Thank you so much. She was like, "Oh, thank you," and then moved on, right? And every person, next person came up and said, "Oh my God, this was so great, thank you," again and again. Every person. I mean, she, there was 20 people before me. You know what I mean? Why am I special to be like, oh, the you said that I'm good, thank you, that makes me feel good now. Like everyone said it before me. At some point, it gets repetitive. Like, okay, I know I'm good. Now what? And I think that's probably how a lot of great people at what they do feel. Like, I mean, she felt like that, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe everyone feels like that in the one thing that they're constantly affirmed on, or the thing that they already know about themselves in some ways. So I was thinking, there's two things to do in that situation. One, you figure out the type of person. Do they look like they're insecure? Are they new, right? Like maybe they're like young, like 10, and this is their first concert or something. And it looks like, if you had to make a guess, that this looks like the type of person who would like some encouragement. Then you gotta encourage them hard, especially if they're like, I'm not good. I think you gotta encourage people when they're bad, way more than when they're good. When they're bad, you tell them the improvements that they made, like this is amazing. You're encouraging them to do better. But when they're already good, it's like what drives them is not some compliment if they're really excellent. Like I think the most excellent people at all these things, like these people were excellent. What drives them, I doubt, is like, oh, I just want someone to think I'm good. Because they've been practicing that for way too long for that to be the driving force. At some point there has to be something bigger than that that like drives them for greatness. And so at least that's what I believe. And so at that point the compliments are just kind of like what is a good word? Facetious? I don't think facetious. There's like a word for like not necessary. Superfluous? I don't know, big words, blah blah. Um, and so I did it. So maybe I could have just really appreciated it. How can I send them like, wow, this profoundly touched me without maybe saying it, because maybe saying it doesn't do much for them. I remember Amma saw this Carnatic singer, what's her name? What's the S? But they've been loving her for like more than a decade. And then they saw her like a couple weeks ago for the first time live. And then she was just telling me, she was like, at the end of the day, like, she's heard the compliments from so many people. So she like went up to her and she was like, for us, she doesn't know how much, she means to us, but to her, we're just another. And I think that's a very kind and profound way of looking at it. I know if I met LeBron, like LeBron would just be like, dude, you're just another person. Even though you started writing about me in your journal when you were in the fourth grade, like still, it's like still, I'm just another person. It's no different than all the other fanboys he has out there. So you can only know what an experience or a person impacts you. It's hard for them to ever know, especially if the power dynamic is different. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to, I've done it before. I've had some great interactions with artists after going and talking to them. I had that really fun with me and Chelsea went. But yeah, I was really nervous. Just to go say good job, which I'm just trying to understand this culture better, what's accepted, what's not. In conforming, you lose some of your strengths. And one of my strengths always has been I don't care. But the whole part of conforming is you start caring. You care about what people think. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm like developing this like other side of me right now of like caring, deeper sense of understanding of your role in the bigger picture of things. But I'm really excited to kind of hopefully go back, pray that I stay alive, to the US to kind of connect both, that deep sense of understanding of your place in the bigger picture of your family, and then to keep that same like, but I'm also still an individual and I have to go do what I need to do, or both. So yeah, so that happened today. Both of the cool experiences. Yesterday, I went and kicked it with Sanjit had like a puja for the Kumal on Sunday, and so yeah, that's where I did this, and it was interesting hanging out with everyone there. And then I've been hanging out in Peripa's clinic, seeing him how he, handles his patients. And then I've been hanging out with Periam a lot, and this trip is gonna be nuts. It's only like week 2 or something. I got here on the 8th. It's been 15 days. Wow. Literally only 2 weeks. Like, I honestly do not know who I'm gonna. It's been 2 weeks. I don't know who I'm gonna be at the end of this. 6 months. I had a little less, 3 days less than 6 months from now. The time's gonna fly. But every week I feel like I'm in a new environment that's like shaping my brain differently. So next week I need to call. Hopefully I'll be at names. I'm tired right now. And then a few days after I'll be in Devakote after taking an overnight bus, which I'm a little wary of, but I've gone this far. Let's see if I can do the next thing. Um, and then I'll be in Devakote for like a full maybe 3 weeks. It'll be nice. I mean, I haven't spent time with that yet in a long time, so I think 3 weeks would be nice. And I'll, go to temples around there, try to do the whole shebang. Um, and then I'll call Sumudiata and go to Trichy. And then I'm gonna start making my way over to. The plan is to Gurulur. Hopefully that works out and work in that school. Slowly make my way over, try to get there by the maybe the beginning of August. So I'll have, all of, oh, maybe not. That's probably not possible, actually, thinking about it now. It'll probably have to be, because right now, is it, geez, is it June? Or maybe, yeah, it's June. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's July. So then, yeah, it would have to probably be in the middle of August. So, okay, so if I just threw out a rough plan right now, and then I stayed there until October 15th, October 20th. Then I have from October 20th, I have about a month to travel north. So maybe from there, from Gurulur on October 20th, I can go Goa, stay there for a week, fly there. I'll have to go to a city nearby Gurulur, and then fly to um, Goa, kick it in Goa for a bit, and then fly to. I just have to see the Taj Mahal just because. Same way with Eiffel Tower. There's just something about these things that are just like, I just have to. They're just always such a profound experience. Just being like, damn, my life has somehow brought me here. It's kept me alive, and I had the resources, and just I'm here now, and I feel very connected to just my life in many different ways. And so I have to go there, and then I want to go visit Sujana in Vijayawada, come back to Chennai for the last week, hang out by the auntie's house, relax for a week, and then go back to the Bay. And then for a month, stay with my dad. I want to like really take care of the house. Like I'm ready to take the next, kind of steps of being a man. Um, Take care of the house. My mom might be gone. I want to learn how to cook really well, and hopefully during this trip I will as well. But go back and, I want to make my dad food every day and take care of him really well, and then move to SF for a bit. My plan is Akash gets married in June, so in April I want to bike from the Bay down to SD. I want to bike in like a week or 2 weeks. I want to start building that school. I want to do this writing, the podcasting, connect professors that I meet on the podcast with research projects, fun projects with the students, build something cool there. Yeah, I mean, I have some plans and ideas, but it takes a lot of hard work. And dreams don't just happen just by talking about it. So, you got it. But overall, I think, the conversation about what the purpose of experience is always has to be discussed, because it's like, man, I think, I'm gonna call her mama. So bye. Okay, I love you. Talk to you in the future.